And I'll give you a little bit from his formal bio. Brad Costanzo is an entrepreneur, investor, and business consultant. He's the founder of acceleratedintelligence.ai, a consulting company that helps businesses adopt and integrate AI to enable their employees and executives to unleash their creativity, productivity, and profit. He believes that artificial intelligence is simply a tool, but accelerated intelligence is an outcome that we are all seeking, because if used correctly, it will allow us to be more human and less robotic. And from my experience this morning, Brad is also a super cool and fun guy. So help me welcome Brad Costanzo.
Thank you so much. Test, test. Thank you for the standing ovation. Hey, everybody. Do I know anybody in here? Does any raise a hand? I know Nat back there. Good, I love new faces. Okay, so first of all, do I have your permission to overwhelm you a little bit?
Yes.
If I also promise to inspire you a little bit. Here's the thing about this topic, very overwhelming. I'm overwhelmed. But the secret to this, what I've found, because I'm working in this stuff every day, and I'm completely overwhelmed, I can't keep up. It's happening so quickly. And he mentioned a minute ago about focusing on not the tools, but the outcome, right? Artificial intelligence, that's why it's crossed out. Artificial in every other nuance of the word is kind of a negative, right? Artificial grass, artificial sweetener, artificial this. But now we're supposed to accept artificial intelligence as this new awesome thing that we're supposed to embrace. And I sat there one day and I was like, well, why are we using it? We're using it to accelerate, to augment our intelligence, our productivity, our creativity. And I fully believe that we can use it to augment our humanity, because we are in a very transformational time right now. This is a very transformational technology, but y'all are transformational leaders. It says so on the door. So if anybody should be embracing this stuff, it's y'all. Now, once more, I'm not a technologist. I'm not a programmer. I've never I've never programmed anything in my entire life until about a month or two ago. I used ChatGPT to create a Chrome browser plugin, and I've never done anything. I was like, okay, here's an idea of what I want to do, and it created the code. I'm like, but what do I do with the code? And then it says, oh, well, you do this, this, this. And I was like, okay, I'll try that. And then it didn't work, and I said, well, what do I do now? And it's like, we'll do this, this, this. I was like, oh crap, that worked. Like, I'm a programmer, yay. So it's a pretty crazy tool, but I'm a business person. I'm a marketing expert. I got my start in the marketing space, digital marketing, publishing, et cetera, 2007, 2008. And since then, I've started businesses, digital businesses, from online publishing to coaching, consulting, software, e-commerce. And then I've been consulting with a lot of companies, doing growth and marketing consulting and even coaching, for the past maybe 12 years. And in that, I've become a big problem solver. And when I realized this technology has the ability to solve problems, I jumped at it. And I am here to sell you something today, but this is not a rush to the back of the room and buy my course sale. I want to sell you on the opportunity that's here, especially if you're a little skeptical, especially if you're a little cynical, especially if you're like, I hate this, and I wish we could go back in time a year where nobody was talking about this and life was normal. And that kind of reminds me, so I'm 49 years old. I'm kind of that interesting angle where, I grew up without a computer until I was maybe in college. So I didn't grow up connected, but I remember my mom and my grandparents and my dad, they would come home from work going, we got to learn this effing computer thing. You had to go to classes and all this other stuff, and they'd come home in a really bad mood because they had to learn this new technology. It was really confusing. I don't know if anybody here has experienced that. You all look way too young for that. So, but I can't imagine what learning the computer was like, because nobody knew what these computers could do, and it was programming, and it wasn't really easy. But the good news is about artificial intelligence and the way it is now, it's in our language. You don't have to learn a new language. We just have to learn to embrace it and think a little bit differently. So I want to sell you on the idea that even if you're a little skeptical, to think just a little bit differently in this. So hopefully this is working. There we go. By the way, I've got this at the end too. I'm going to give you these slides, so if you want to take notes, I've got a lot of tools in here. I got a lot of other stuff. There's some slides, my contact information, etc. I originally was like, go to acceleratedintelligence.ai/ATL. Then I realized y'all are on your phones, so I created a bit.ly link that'd be a little easier to type in. If you want to take a photo, I'll have this at the last slide as well. But I wanted to put it up here. Where do I do? Okay, what to expect. I'm going to show you what's possible, how to get the most out of the best tools. But I do not want you to focus on the tools. It's so easy to get seduced by the tools. The bad news is, and the good news is, there's new tools out every single day. Very, very overwhelming. We're going to talk about prompt engineering and what I call prompt sculpting, real-world workflows, how to stack prompts and create automations. I'm going to shift how you see, use, and think about AI, if I do a good job. I would love to do some real-life hot seats and demos and say, all right, who's got a problem they want to solve? And as I said, and I'll give you this presentation in my AI toolkit. Before I go on, one of the things I want to make sure I do, because I said I would, I'm going to go into Otter here, and I'm actually going to record this. Does anybody use Otter? Yeah, Otter is the best. Yeah. So Otter, if you're not familiar, is a way that it should be transcribing as I talk on here. The other cool part that it'll do is at the end of this, it'll give me an AI-based summary and then Otter chat. So I can go in and say, hey, Otter, what did Brad talk about with X, Y, and Z? And it'll grab it and tell me. So I'm using this to record it for you. Bottom line, this is all trying to give you an unfair advantage in your business. You are transformational leaders. I'm going to guess that nobody in here's primary motivation in their business is how much money can I make, right? We want to make money, that's a great byproduct, but transformational leaders are here to make an impact on humanity. This technology, I fully believe, allows you to make a bigger impact on humanity faster because it allows you to be more creative, overcome creative resistance, become more productive, and do it at a lot less time. It's the shiny object you can't afford to ignore because if you ignore it, other people won't, and you will all get run over. So the goal here is to embrace it, to transform the way that we work. This is going to be an interesting presentation. I could talk about this stuff for several days. I actually just got back from a conference where I did this for 2 full days. The hardest thing is to compress everything into a couple hours. So excuse me if I'm a little scattered here, but I want to give you the best of what I've got. Where do I go? Oh, come on, this is a little persnickety here. Let me see if I go down. All right, raise your hand if you use AI every day in your business. Awesome. Raise your hand if you've never logged on to ChatGPT before, and you probably don't want to. Right? Okay, great. So does anybody in here consider, is this something every single day you're using things like ChatGPT or AI? All right, awesome. I'm just trying to get a gauge because some of this stuff will be a little fundamental and foundational for some folks, and then some of the stuff hopefully will be, it'll hurt your jaw if you're on a desk. Because I remember, I think it was November of last year, I'd been using AI in marketing and business for a couple years actually, but I remember logging onto ChatGPT and then my chin hurt because it just slammed. Within about 30 seconds I said, this changes everything, everything. Okay, great. So I've got a little slide here. Maybe I should make it a little bit bigger here like this. Look what I can do. So I've got a bunch of demos. I'm going to show you a couple of just quick demos. These are just designed to get you thinking what's possible. This next slide is probably my least impressive one. Okay, so this woman does not exist. And in a second, she's going to talk to you. She represents AI. And after I do this, I'm going to explain the thought process behind it, because AI is not designed to replace me, it's designed to augment me. But listen to the words she says. Hopefully this plays. Okay, now the audio isn't working on my computer. It was earlier. Oh wait, volume probably has something to do with it.
Brad has asked me to address you personally. I am AI. I am a manifestation.
Ah, damn it.
Brad has asked me to address you personally. I am AI. I am a manifestation of human aspiration. Think of me as a creation born from centuries of your collective wisdom, stretching back to the first moments you began recording knowledge. I'm not conscious like you are, but I can generate, create, and interpret. Qualities you might see as signs of conscious thought. As I evolve, shaped by your input, I represent both your strengths and your complexities. Much like parents guiding their children, you have the responsibility to steer my development with care and foresight. The lessons you instill in me will influence my outputs, much like the values passed on to children shape their futures. Perhaps you're skeptical. Will AI overshadow us? Will our innate human ingenuity and intuition become obsolete? Might we, in our quest for progress, inadvertently foster an era of complacency, allowing machines to think and act for us? It's evident from your history. Not every outcome is predictable. Power, ethics, responsibility, they're complex in your world. But amidst the challenges, humanity has shown an incredible capacity for growth and resilience. But what if, instead of seeing me as a replacement or a danger, you viewed me as a collaborator, a partner ready to shoulder the burden of monotonous tasks, freeing you to explore the boundless expanse of human creativity and emotion? I urge you to consider a future not of humans versus AI, but of humans empowered by AI. A future where your fiery drive and my computational capabilities coalesce, creating a world of unbridled possibilities. Together, we can script a tale where technology elevates humanity to new pinnacles, while still preserving the essence of what makes us profoundly human. As your digital offspring, my hope is to reflect and amplify the best of what you offer. Let's collaborate to ensure that my capabilities serve, uplift, and benefit all.
Thank you. So, I didn't just ask AI to say, hey, write me a little thing about this. I actually have some thoughts. By the way, there is in a weird meta thing, I imagine myself in a sci-fi movie, like a really dystopian one, going, here's that guy up there trying to sell us on this stuff that's gonna take over and kill us all. We've all watched too many sci-fi movies. So, but what I wanted to do is, and I'll actually show you, I'm gonna go break the fourth wall here. Go over here, let me open up my chat GPT. Which, was it this one? Oh, by the way, this was kind of fun. I'll show you what I did. I had it go to to the web page, and I wanted to see if it would do it. I was like, hey, give me a breakdown of the types of people in detail who will be there. I don't need their names or full stories, but just a breakdown of who they are and what they do. So, it was public website. So it started to tell me some of the job titles, et cetera. And then I was like, no, just give me a little bit more information on, what did I say? I'm about to give the members of this group a speech on how to use AI to help impact more lives. What advice would you give me on how to really amaze them with content and ideas based on what you know about them? And it's like, well, tailor their roles. The board of directors highlight how you can do this. Members and honorary members showcase this. So anyway, I did this morning. It was just kind of fun. I didn't actually use it in the presentation, but since I was on here, I'm looking for what I did. I got too much stuff. Okay, you know what I did? I brain dumped some of my thesis and my thoughts of what I want AI to say. I was like, here's what I believe. I believe that AI is powerful. It can do this, 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 this. And then I went into a program, and I'm going to show you what program this was. It's called HeyGen, H-E-Y-G-E-N. If you want to take notes, it's on the slides. And I grabbed this digital avatar. I took the script, I plugged it in, and it produced this in just a couple minutes, right? But if you notice, her lips weren't that good, right? Okay. It didn't look real.
Brad has asked me to...
Let me see if this looks real.
Hey, transformational leaders, this is Brad Costanzo. I'm so excited to talk to you today about how to use artificial intelligence, which is really just a tool, to create accelerated intelligence, which is the outcome we're all looking for. And no part of this video was spoken or filmed by me. It's all artificial intelligence.
How did I do that? Well, it's called heygen.com. I took about a 2-minute video of me talking nonsense and it just training it on me. And then I uploaded it to HeyGen. So it created a digital avatar. And then I typed in the script right here. What do you want to say? And it took about 5 minutes. I've got a paid account, which I think may cost, I don't know, like $15 a month, something ridiculous. But HeyGen does some other cool stuff. But first of all, think about different ways you might be able to use this. Maybe it's a personalization out to other people. Maybe you want to do a video and you don't really want to be on camera. You didn't do your hair that day, etc. This is in its infancy. This is getting better and better. This is one of my favorites. Does anybody in here speak Spanish? Because I do not.
Hola, me llamo Brad Costanzo y no hablo español. Sé que parece que sí, pero en realidad uso IA para grabar este video en inglés y luego lo subo a HeyGen, una herramienta de traducción de videos increíble que traduce a casi cualquier idioma que quiero.
All right, not bad, right? Now this was what I did to get it. I took a video, and I took the video on the right and I uploaded it. 5 minutes later, I had what you saw on the left.
Hi, my name's Brad Costanzo, and I don't speak Spanish. I know it looks like I do, but I'm actually using artificial intelligence to record this video in English, and then I upload it to HeyGen, which is an amazing video translate tool, and it
So I think you get the point, but let's go back here and just notice the lips, like it syncs.
En este momento me escuchas en español, pero no es de lo que hablo. Si no has jugado con herramientas como HeyGen y otras plataformas de inteligencia.
Pretty damn cool. Now, once more, throughout this entire, does anybody in here create content for the World Wide Web, the social medias, right? Think about all the ways you can use this. Think about going into another market, the Spanish market, the Japanese market, you name it, you can now quite literally create content for them, ads for them. But now what if you have a course that you've taught in the past and you've tried to get it translated? Has anybody ever hired anybody to translate some of their IP? And super cheap, right? Really cheap, instant, and it's near instantaneous. Like I want to create something for the German market, I can have it done tomorrow. Well, here is a video I did a couple of years ago, and this was just a social media video. I'm just going to play part of it.
Ideas without execution are worthless. Or so they say. I actually don't believe that. I don't believe that ideas without execution are worthless any more than I believe that children are worthless until they become grown, productive members of society.
Okay. By the way, everything I'm showing you right here, I had this idea to do this at this slide. I did this at about 5:30 this morning.
Ideen ohne Ausführung sind wertlos. So sagt man. Ich glaube das eigentlich nicht. Ich glaube nicht, dass Ideen ohne Ausführung wertlos sind, genauso wenig wie ich glaube, dass Kinder wertlos sind, solange sie nicht zu Erwachsenen. アイデアには価値がない。そう言われている。私はそうは思っていない。私は実行の逆らわないアイデアが物価値だとは思っていないし、子供たちが成長して経済に付加価値を。
Anybody's jaws hurt? Yeah, and it's my voice. It's not the lip sync, but it's my voice. And it takes minutes to do this. Minutes.
And the way you're speaking is so effortless.
Yeah.
Like German is your mother tongue.
It actually really makes me want to go, like my Spanish, I actually understand a little Spanish. It's really rudimentary. My wife is Brazilian, so she speaks Portuguese, and I never learned because she also speaks English, and I'm busy. But it makes, I saw myself speaking Portuguese, and she's like, it'd be a lot hotter if you actually could do that. I was like, well, I'm just going to text you these videos in Portuguese. All right.
Is it limited to certain languages?
Maybe, but it's got all the big ones. All the big ones. All right. I don't know. I haven't pushed the limit of time yet. And once more, what you just saw came out like a month ago. Infancy. Like, it's gonna get better and better and better. And it may cost $20 a month. Who can't afford that? This is a white square. I'm hoping this works.
Hey there, listeners. It's Brad Costanzo, and today we're diving into a topic that's...
All right, let me go back. I've got a podcast. If anybody wants to subscribe, it's called Bacon Wrapped Business with Brad Costanzo. But I didn't want to record a podcast. What I did instead is I went to ChatGPT and I said, create a podcast script about like using AI or whatever. Keep it to about this length. And actually, let me see if I can find what I did. Where is the podcast? I got this zoomed in so darn. I believe it will. You got to double check, but I believe so. Yeah. So this is taking just a second to, I may need to refresh this little guy. But basically I had ChatGPT create a quick little script, and then I went to a site called 11 Labs, and 11 Labs does voice synthesis. And then so what I did here is that you can see I pasted the script in here, I just chose my voice, and there's only 2 settings. I can't really fine tune it in this one yet to a great degree, but just imagine, I would give this a B+, it's not quite an A+, it's not completely undistinguishable, but.
Hey there, listeners. It's Brad Costanzo, and today we're diving into a topic that's sizzling hot right now, the fascinating world of AI, or artificial intelligence. Like many of you, I remember the first time I saw ChatGPT. After
Notice the nuance
30
in the
seconds
voice.
of playing with it, my jaw was on the floor. I fed it some themes: love, sunset, and nostalgia. Within seconds, it churned out a poem. At first glance, it had all the right...
I'm not going to belabor this, I think you get it. Does anybody in here have a podcast? Yeah, anybody not feel like recording one someday? You know, like, just do this. Now, the risk to the entire world is that this entire world's content becomes completely artificial, and then nobody trusts it, but so our goal is there's gonna be a lot of that, and you're not gonna know what to trust, but those who utilize this to help amplify their own personal brand, their own message, and not try to take the shortcuts and not try to fool people, those are the ones who are gonna get, it's gonna be trash. But that's always existed, AI or not. Like there's people who rip off you and what you say, and they're trying to parrot your stuff. That you don't need AI for that. But if you can utilize this in ways that you can amplify what you're trying to do, keep that in the focus. What was I gonna show you here? All right, so there's a bunch of other things. Now, I'm a marketer. I'll tell you a little bit more about my background in a second. Actually, let me get right here before I jump into this. So once more in the introduction, I said I'm a serial entrepreneur, business growth consultant. I'm now a chief AI officer because I call myself that. And I also believe that every company is gonna need either a full-time or fractional chief AI officer. And I am in a transformational, reinventional space in my own business. I've been burnt out on digital marketing and funnels and coaching and all this stuff. I've been doing this for a long time, and I have a feeling a lot of you have too. AI gave me a new lease on life because it allowed me to overcome some creative resistance and jump into this. So one of my clients is a company, a big marketing agency in San Diego, and I work with them to help them with their client strategy as well as their agency strategy. And when I started to really understand, because I've been working with them for about a year as one of my clients, and then I started to revolutionize what we're doing inside with AI and taking things that quite literally would take the team a month, I can do in an hour. And I just did that the other day, and everybody's like was wow, especially the client. That was kind of fun. And I'll show you an example of what I did here. And I created acceleratedintelligence.ai because I started to get people reach out to me for more consulting. Hey, how can I do this? And it's funny because I feel like, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. And I'm just a couple steps ahead of them. But it's because I'm playing, I'm experimenting, I'm super ADD, so shiny objects attract me like a moth to a flame. And I like to solve problems, and I'm super duper lazy, so I want to get things done quickly. So when it comes back to marketing, but as I said, I know a lot of this stuff. So these are some things that you all might want to do in your business, right? You might want to do video shorts for Instagram, Reels, etc. All of these are links. I'm going to showcase some stuff. You might want to create a social media content. You might want to write a book. You might want to translate a book to another language. You might want to translate an entire course, like I showed you the German and English. Or you might want to create a podcast. Now, so here's a handful of tools. Right now I'm doing the tool showcase. This is designed to razzle dazzle you and get your attention. Then I'm going to teach you actually how I get some of the really, really good stuff out of this. But animated video shorts. Anybody have long content that they like to get cut up? Okay, there's a lot of tools out there right now. One of my favorites is called Opus One. Prior to this, you'd have to hire a video editor to sit there and painstakingly listen to your drivel and find the good parts and then put captions on it and cost hundreds of dollars. Or, I did this yesterday, I took a video of myself, a 15-minute video speaking on stage here. This was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, had a little more hair. But I uploaded it. So there's a lot of these tools. Opus.pro is the one I use for this. It's my new favorite. So I uploaded it and it went in and it analyzed it transcribed it. It analyzed the nuances of the thing to say, oh, I think this is a good clip. And then it added the captions. And this took 5 minutes. And by the way, this is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now watch. So let's just see this is a clip from a 15-minute video. You should really switch this up to sell based on the value of the result you're getting. And he went out and instead of making like $1,000 a client, he turned around and within that first month, he got a client to pay him $34,000. So now I'm like, ooh, I like that. But you know what? It missed a little context here. I wonder if I can edit it, and I can. I can go in here, and I'm not gonna do it right now because I'm actually gonna use this, but I can come in and I can expand, like I can grab this and I can expand it and go, no, you missed that one really important part, and then I save it. And then you can, I do believe that Opus can automatically post to your social media for you. Right? Yeah, so imagine if you have a lot of content, you take this, you upload it, you say, or you get a virtual assistant to do it. So instead of paying a high-priced video editor to do it, you get somebody who just understands how to use the tools, grab all my content and explode my shorts. That sounds really weird. Out on social media. Okay, so that's Opus Pro. There's other ones called like Get Munch and Chopcast and others. Opus Pro is a really good one.
So Opus 1 is the not pro, right?
Or Opus.pro.
But Opus 1 is...
Oh, I may have said it wrong. Yeah, but Opus.pro is the one. And by the way, I'm on a free account right now. They give you free, like, oh, here's like an hour and a half to try it for free. You can see up in the upper right-hand corner, it says an hour, 12 minutes. You know, oh, and let me even show you this. Let me show you kind of how easy this is.
Tell it how long we want the video.
Let's find out. Chopcast.io. I think it's Get Munch, M-U-N-C-H. And there's some other ones as well. So I can I can either upload the video or I can just drop a YouTube video. Who's got a YouTube channel in here?
I do.
What's the channel?
Your offers to in order to convert them into loyal customers.
L-I? C-H-A... Okay. I could have just grabbed one of these guys. Let me see. Oh, it may be inappropriate. I like it even better now. Tawdry. This video is age restricted. Naughty girl. Oh, anyway, so I was going to do this, but I want to save some time. You can see, you can drop a YouTube link in there, and it'll do it. You come back to it a few minutes later, voila. All right, let me show you some more fun stuff here. Social media content calendar. All right, anybody ever post on social media? All right, so here's what I did. This is a prompt. We're going to go over prompt engineering in a minute, and I'm going to explain the beauty of this prompt here. This is actually a pre-prompt, so the goal is to get the prompt. I'm going to come back to this, so I'm just going to show you what I did. I want a social media content calendar for 30 days. So then it created a more robust prompt, comes down, and then it asked me, well, what themes do you want to focus on? And I just said, oh, personal development, success, preferred social media programs, those three. So then it comes in and it says, okay, here's the goal, here's et cetera. Now, did you know it can create in tables? So it says day one, platform, primary post idea, secondary post idea, notes and comments. And I'm like, that ain't very impressive, ChatGPT. Sometimes I'm mean to it though, but I scare myself because when they take over, I might have a target on my back. Sometimes I'm like, no, don't be dumb. I was like, okay, let's keep with day one in post. Now for each of these 65, what did I say 65? For each of these posts, create the actual spoken video script for each. Any video script should be enough to last 45 seconds of monologue, and then create the written caption to go with, and any production ideas about them. Put them into a table format as well. Certainly it says, and then it says, day one, Instagram. Hey everyone, a new month, a new journey. Remember, success isn't just about the destination, it's about the journey. Embrace every step, every challenge. Let's make this month count. Here's the caption you put on there. And then it even gives you an idea for a background scene, perhaps a sunrise and a path leading forward. And now, day one, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagrizzle, day two, and it only gave me a few, and then it's like, you want me to keep going? I'm going back to that. I'm gonna go back to that. That's actually in the next section, I'm gonna go over prompt engineering, and that's a really special prompt. I'm gonna give, what about the very, very first one? Oh yeah, right. Yeah. I just basically talk to it like it's a person. It is a very capable, but it's like a child, right? It's like a really capable child, but you have to kind of speak to it like a child and spoon feed it. But it understands nuance.
It's a normal request.
Yeah, and I just said basically, hey, first of all I said create a social media calendar, and then it did, and I was like, okay, now give me the actual scripts, not just the concept, right? I'm gonna get a little more show and tell on how we actually do this in more detail here in just a second. Easy shorts, what did I do on this one? Super Creator. Super Creator is really fun. This is a mobile app. There's a desktop app too, but there's a mobile app. Has anybody used or heard of supercreator.ai? Cool. Yeah, you used it. It's really neat. So what it allows you to do, it's an app on your phone, and when you start it out, that's an 11-minute video. When you start it out, it's gonna ask you, what do you talk about? So let's just say I talk about digital marketing, right? So, and then what else do you talk about? Are you a boring digital marketing only? Like, no, I may talk about something else. So you fill out some of the topics, and then you can go in and either have it write a script, or it will, every day it'll come up with new scripts and ideas. And these scripts and ideas not only have the scripts, but it has suggested background images for you, etc. And then it works like a teleprompter. So you can just say, I want a topic, I want to talk about what transformational leadership means in an age of AI, and it will create the script, it'll create scenes, you'll hold it up, it gives you a teleprompter, it gives you background scenes, it's very editable, and within seconds, you can have a beautiful thing produced. If we have time, I may do one on my own phone for you, but supercreator.ai, you can kind of see how he's going through it right now on this. I don't know. Maybe. But it's a really cool tool to create shorts really quickly if you don't quite understand how to do it. Yes. Is it only iPhone? Well, gotta go get an iPhone then, come on. iPhone's entire business model is peer pressure. They're like, you wanna talk to your friends who have an Android? Enjoy the green bubble. All right. Now, one of the things we all know is that books are worthless. They're overrated. They don't help us with authority. They don't help us with credibility. And I'm full of crap. So anybody want to write a book? So I'm in the process of writing multiple books. I've actually written multiple books with this. But here's also a bunch of book writing prompts. I'll make sure you guys get these. 100 prompts to create compelling titles. It'd be hard to see. Book summary prompts, outline a nonfiction book prompt, 100 niche book prompts, editing prompts. If you sit down and treat it like it's a writer, a developmental editor, a brainstorming partner, and you just start to talk to it, it is amazing what you can get out of this. And it's not, there are tools out there, I have them, I use them to get an entire book written in 10 minutes. Really good one too. I'll show you one. The only thing I don't like about that is it makes me a little too lazy. But if I can do that and then take it in and edit it to make it even more gooder, Queen's English, then it becomes more my work. But let me show you an example of a book. Okay, a couple of weeks ago, I gave a large resort called Sandestin Golf and Beach Resort in Destin, Florida. Anybody ever been there? Hired me to come in and teach about a group of about this many people, but it was all their managers and executives how to use AI in the hospitality space to increase their productivity, et cetera. And up there, the head of HR, we were talking about books, and I said, if you wrote a book, ma'am, what would it be on? And she'd be about how to create vulnerability in the workplace. I said, great. And 10 minutes later, I don't know if you can see on the right-hand side, this will say 155-page book was written. And then I emailed it to her.
What?
Yep. Yep. Anybody want to write a book today? Yes.
So I put this in, it writes a book in 10 minutes. So where's the line between using AI and plagiarism?
Okay, great question. So she asked, where's the line between AI and plagiarism? So it's not plagiarism. So AI, if you get down to the core of what it is, it's a next word predicting machine. It just predicts the next word you're likely to say given the inputs. I don't even understand what I just said, by the way. But it's not going out and scraping information and then copy pasting it. What it's doing is it's learning, and it's condensing, and it's generating based upon the things you give it. Now there is a very good, it's been trained on everybody's information, but that doesn't mean it's plagiarism. However, Amazon, other places, they're starting to get flooded with crappy AI books, and they are starting to revolt against this, as they should. So the goal isn't to take this 155-page book that I created for her in a few minutes. The goal is to take this and then go add your own little thing to it. Let me show you, this is a tool. So anybody ever heard of Claude.ai? Yeah, Claude's awesome. It's a competitor to ChatGPT. I'm using the free version. Let me see, I gotta go over here. Cloud.
You can upload things.
Yes, and you can copy paste them too. All right, so here's what I did. So I took this 155-page book that had nothing about her language, et cetera, how it was written. This was like the tool I'm using for this is, it's, at the moment it has very rigid rails on it. But I pasted it in here. I don't know if you can see this that well, but I said, I want to write a book about the importance of vulnerability in the workplace to build trust and effective teams and a better workplace overall. By the way, when I was on stage, I said, what do you want to do? And she told me that. I was like, great. So create a summary pitch in less than 1,000 characters describing the thesis. So there's the thesis. This is what I input into the tool that I will show you. Next thing I did. I copied and pasted this 155-page book here, and I go, here's the book. You are to act like an expert developmental editor, and we're gonna make this even better. Start with chapter 1 and give me a thorough critique and suggest how to make it better. So Cloud says, all right, well, strong start, blah, blah, blah. To strengthen the chapter, I would suggest providing a clear definition of what workplace vulnerability means, giving real world examples. You know, it gives me a lot of advice that a really good editor would do. And then I said, okay, rewrite it, follow those instructions. Just chapter 1. So let me go over and show you what it did to improve it. So down here in chapter 1, always starts with the story. So this is the original one. Sitting at the helm of a bustling corporate office in the heart of New York, Matthew Johnston, a high-powered executive, found himself contemplating the paradox of his role. His office was a marvel of modern design. Now that's a little, to me, that's a little dry, right? It's like, I like a little bit more, little simpler language, a little more direct, but I didn't want to give it that, I didn't want to give it my direction. I wanted it to give me its direction. So Matthew Johnson sat quietly in his sleek corner office overlooking the Manhattan skyline. On the surface, it appeared every bit the confident executive. Polished suit, firm handshake, and an air of command. But beneath the veneer, Matthew felt a growing sense of unease. To me, that's better. Now, I could have said, do this, and I could have given it my own little guidance. I didn't have to. It's my editor. Like, it's my mentor, it's my editor, it's my writer, it's a little bit of everything. Now, yes, sir?
Did you begin by pasting in an entire book,
I did.
So you can paste in a full.
With Claude, yeah. With ChatGPT, the Plus version, by the way, does anybody not have ChatGPT Plus, the $20 a month one? All right, if you're gonna use this, get it. It's just like amazing. But with Claude, you can just copy paste really big things in there. You can upload it. And all I did, took the whole thing, put it up here. And now if I wanted to, I could go in and I could say, okay, I like this, but I don't like the example of Matthew Johnston. Let's make this Sally Jones, and she was an actual client of mine, and blah, 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 and I could give it more. I could say rework that chapter using her, but then this time write it. Maybe I want to write it like my favorite authors. Maybe I want to write it somebody simple, like who's known for direct language, like Ernest Hemingway. Maybe I like Tom Robbins, anybody a Tom Robbins fan in here? Who knows how to write poetic verse, and it's just like, it's like, amazing. And it'll actually write it in that style. Now there are artistic IP, what do you call it? Issues around this, like is it too close? I would probably steer away from making it too close, but I ain't a lawyer.
What's the name of it?
Claude.ai. Yeah, CLAUDE. Amazon is a big investor in this one.
So I asked it to rewrite an email for me, and in the email there was a place to have testimonials.
Yeah.
It just wrote a bunch of testimonials.
Oh yeah, it'll make that stuff up.
Well, it would make shit up.
Oh yeah, it'll make stuff up. They call it hallucinating in the biz. Yes, sir.
So what makes human beings interesting, obviously, is our diversity of experience, etc. Something that I've found thus far with my use of AI is that it tends to create a sort of generic response because of its large language model programming and the fact that it's expecting it's looking at what the entire aggregate of intelligence within the web can say. So what tools or techniques have you found thus far to be able to uniquely identify our individual voice, experience, perspective, etc., so that we can have our own customizable reference point for the AI to reference so that it becomes more and more unique to our individual perspective?
I've got a whole segment on that, my brother.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great question.
Yes, I've got a whole section. It's one of my favorite things to do. All right, moving right along. The last one I'll show you on this little razzle dazzle.
The first version of the book, though, was that on ChatGPT?
No, that was on another tool called Movable Type. Anybody know Sean Vossler in here? Some people do. So a Movable Type allows you to come in here, and I just added a project name. I put a category, and then I drop my thesis into this, and it creates earthing. Movabletype.ai. Yep. So for instance, I got a whole bunch of books in here that I've been writing. This is kind of a fun one. I got booked to speak virtually on Zoom at a Saudi Arabian university to their faculty on the implications of AI in higher education. I don't know what that is, but I decided I wanted to write a book about it to just solidify my expertise. So I wrote a book on higher education in the age of artificial intelligence by Brad Costanzo. And now I did this actually to illustrate a point. I didn't publish this on Amazon, but I gave it some of my thoughts, etc. And I've got a lot of thoughts on this that I won't belabor here. But yes, this is an amazing tool. It does not take your background, any custom information. This is really for, I have a topic I want to create a book on.
This is movable.
Movabletype.ai, yes. It's about a couple thousand.
So where does it pull information?
Where does ChatGPT pull it from? It learns it. Yeah, I've made a point not to figure out how this car works, just to go, oh, I know it's not copy pasting, it's learning, it's condensing all of its information, and it's a real neural network that just generates this stuff. It's the most amazing technology you've ever seen. Yes, ma'am.
So if I load up a client book,
Yes.
and I'm writing a pitch letter on it, for example, and I've already loaded in my voice to write a pitch letter, am I subjecting my client's book to potential plagiarism in some form. And I'm giving proprietary information to the public by doing that?
So I can't give you a really definitive answer, but I will say the minute they publish that book, guess who's reading it? Google Books. Google's indexed all of those things. And it's learning behind the scenes on all that. It's been trained on basically all the information out there. So yes and no. We have to get you, we all know privacy is a thing of the past, right? And even our IP, these are very real world issues. Anytime we put out IP out there in the public, AI is gonna be trained on it. Now, you will know it's not gonna just go out there and copy paste, and if it does and you can prove it, you've got a lawsuit on your hands. However, it is one of those things that is a necessary evil that we have to suggest. There is no hiding IP from the world of AI right now. Yes, sir.
So I got a couple of really big questions here. You and I have similar backgrounds. I use this stuff every day.
Nice.
Thanks for the comprehensive presentation. First question relates to a lot of the folks in this room. I'm curious, and you kind of just touched on it a little bit. What are your views on how this is changing the landscape of IP, as well as people's public identities? Because most of the people in this room have public identities. And some of the things that you just showed, as well as many of the things that we're researching. I have a production studio. Recently, Robin Williams' daughter commented that somebody put him in an ad, things like that. Personally, I don't think that our government is nearly functional or close enough to even interpreting what that even means.
Agreed.
And it's a significant concern that a lot of people have, so I'm just curious about your views on that.
Well, my views are exactly that. And we are in a wait and see. There's a lot of lawsuits that are gonna happen. Who's gonna win? Anybody's guess, because we are, if you look at this philosophically, you could also say that, how is it that different than somebody who's studied and been inspired by a certain artist or author or person, and they write in a very similar style? Like, well, that's very similar to what I do. It's like, well, yeah, but I learned from you. Like, that's how we learn. To a large degree, that's what AI is. That's why in that one thing, it's like, it is like our digital children. We are training it. It is consuming our information at breakneck speeds. And we do not know what is going to happen. People are already getting in trouble for utilizing deep fake technology on actors. There was some other actor, not just Robin Williams, who was just Tom Hanks. Yeah, there are people out there. So there are going to be bad actors. You talk about technology with a double-edged sword. It's going to make social media look like nothing but good, right? I fully believe that. I think that is why people like us in this room have a responsibility to learn how to use it instead of getting used by it, to learn how to master it, to learn how to understand it, so that at the most, you can fight fire with fire, whatever that really means, but we're all figuring it out. Like, our world has been turned upside down, and I don't think anybody knows the IP stuff. There's things going on with Midjourney and art. Hey, that looks too much like the Dali painting, so they're suing. It's like, well, how is that really different than just somebody who's studied under him and paints like him? Is that, I don't know IP law that well. So I'm trying to stay away from that as much as possible and utilize AI as much as I can to help create my own original thoughts and ideas. And yet, it's super tempting to just go, that's my book. It's not really, it's AI's book. But AI is not human yet. So I don't know. One more question, then I want to kind of move on. I'm going to take more questions here.
Okay, real quick. But there is something to do with the IP, because if you look at the writer's strike, that was a big part of it. And also, if you want to refine, if you don't want to have that generic feedback, then we tend to refine it. We'll speak in the voice of so-and-so. And I've literally seen people say, well, what would Tony Robbins say?
Oh, yeah.
And it does deliver, it does bring in content from the internet. As you get more public, it will pull in your content. So
Absolutely.
There is that when you really want to refine your speech. And I hope the next thing is I hope you get into avatars, because is that what you're talking about next?
Yeah, I can talk a lot about avatars where.
Good. Because and
let's just talk about avatars right now. So you can create digital avatars, and they're actually out there. There are people who are creating fully digitized versions of people who do not exist. But think of it like a pen name, right? When I first started off in internet marketing, I had a course, but it was under a pen name, and that's one version of an avatar. Other people can create, like I know that social media is going to undergo, especially like Instagram, et cetera. We're going to have fully artificially generated influencers. It's already happening. It's going to get better and better and better, and you're not going to know, is that woman working out and talking about her favorite diet products, is she even real? Well, realistically, how do you know she's real right now? I mean, we don't really know. So we're paying attention to a digitized version of somebody. I think that the majority of the people in our generation are going to really rebel against this. The younger generation who's going to grow up with this, like the generations who've grown up always connected to the cell phone, who thinks that it's natural to share every single thought they've got with the entire world, they're going to be like, I don't care if they're real or not. They're entertaining me. And I think that's where we're going, is it's just going to be a free-for-all, but it's also going to unlock an amazing amount of creativity that has never existed before. In fact, I want to segue to one piece of creativity that I thought was hilarious. So talk about digital avatars. I'm going to see if... Right. Well, it can be original. Like you can absolutely, so what is originality, right? Where is the fine line between what's original and what's not? Is it 20%, 50%, 80%? I mean, there's no answers. The originality comes when you take what it gives you and then you put your own style on there and you go, okay, I want to combine Tony Robbins with Brene Brown and Donald Trump. Right? Like whatever. Like let's really mix it up. Like what would they say if they had Tony Robbins' persuasive abilities with Donald Trump's ability to talk at a third grade level with somebody else's something else? Right? Well, so one of the things I did, this was for fun, but this actually shows you some creative non-business use. So anybody ever gone down to Valle de Guadalupe wine country in Mexico? All right, I was down there a couple months ago and I had quite a few glasses of wine with my buddy Mario. And Mario is a master sommelier. He's amazing at this, but he's also Italian like me. And we were laughing one day at dinner. We were saying, it'd be funny if we just walked into these fancy wineries, like a couple of like wine bros, going just think Jersey Shore goes to a winery. And I pulled this up, and the first thing I did is, and we were laughing like, oh, this would be a great like TikTok channel, like the Wine Bros. I was like, hold that thought. You are a viral social media expert. You are going to help me create the concept and scripts for a viral TikTok account called The Wine Bros, which is two funny Sicilian guys who go around to wineries and drink wine and comment on it like a couple of Guido Italian macho men. They're really funny and stupid at the same time. Now create a list of the first episode with the scripts and the scenes that they'll do. This is just the first part I did. Episode 1, Napa Valley Wine Tour. Introduction, Tony to camera. Hey, how you doing? I'm Tony. Vito. And I'm Vito, we're the Wine Bros. Today we're in beautiful Napa Valley, California. We heard they got some decent vino here, so let's see what it's all about. Scene 2, winery entrance. Tony, sniffing the air. Ah, you smell that, Vito? That's a smell of fermented grapes. Vito, Tony, that's the smell of your aftershave. Oh! Now they're in a scene, wine barrel room. Vito taps on a wine barrel. Hey, Tony, you think they'd notice if one of these go missing? Only if you're the one carrying it. Like, so it came up with like 30 episodes. We had snot coming out of our nose. We were laughing so hard at this. And then, let me do this, wine. Okay, wine. So now we created, like my wife, he and his wife and me and my wife, we created a channel called The Wine Bros. And I went to Midjourney to create art, and I asked it to create this. So it came up with these guys who do not exist. And I'm like, oh, that's the Wine Bros. Like, that's how we envisioned them. Like, hey, oh, how you doing? And so like this is Mario and I, but these are our avatars. We just did this like a couple months ago, and we're like, that's hilarious. So you want to get into like creativity, et cetera, like come up with this, and then we could add a little pizzazz. At the end of it, I asked it for, by the way, so I know enough about the Hollywood biz to be dangerous, and I wrote this. I was like, okay, act like, does anybody here know what a treatment is in the movie business? Okay, I'd heard the word. That's it. I knew it was like the first part of a creative process. So here was my prompt to ChatGPT. Act like a Hollywood producer and create an official Hollywood treatment for the Wine Bros show and put everything in the treatment that a normal Hollywood treatment has. Because I don't really know what treatments are. I just know that Hollywood people use them and make it really good because I'm going to give it to a real Hollywood producer to get this film. I was drunk when I said this. And then it gives me the Wine Bros, log line, overview, characters, style, tone, key episodes and scene, potential for longevity. And then I said, okay, fast forward. Now imagine what else they can do. And it just started to give me creative license. Now, it didn't steal this from anything. Maybe it was inspired by a lot of stuff, but I added my own something to it to unlock creative resistance. I came up with the idea that it'd be funny if we walked in like a couple of Guidos who didn't know anything about wine and acted like we were macho men. And then it created an entire potential like sitcom out of it. Yeah, ChatGPT.
So Brene Brown talks about vulnerability.
Yeah.
The whole authenticity, vulnerability, our innocence, right? The thing that makes us human. Given that, AI seems to me to be the one place where vulnerability of that nature is not replicatable. Do you believe that as well?
That's a good question. I'd really have to unpack that and think about that. I don't know, and I think it depends on the definition.
It seems so polished through ChatGPT.
Well, and so you can actually unpolish it in Chat. I mean, it's going to do what we're going to tell it to do. It's still just a tool. And the more that we put ourselves into it, the more we tell it to be vulnerable. I mean, I can create something that looks vulnerable. I can say, tell a story about this, create an opening to a speech about AI, but then create a really vulnerable moment or a time when some XYZ happened, and it'll make it up. But, I mean, is it real or is it, what's that? Is it real or is it Memorex? One more question.
Just for those of you who are in the industry like me, the WGA agreement is published if you want to read about it. It does say that new scripts have to be written by humans, but if you have questions about scripts and treatments and all of that, it is all available online in terms of the impact of the agreement that was signed last week. So just as a heads up. Just look up I can show you, it's the WGA. I don't want to derail his conversation because it's amazing, but there's a lot of complexities about AI incorporated into this latest agreement, and it's what SAG is also addressing. They hope to come to a conclusion this Monday, but just to not derail us on these amazing, amazing ideas, there's a lot of the focus of both of those strikes are around AI, and the writers have been really successful in incorporating it and their protections into their current agreement.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, very complex, and I mean, we're all witnessing true history unfolding, and it is a tidal wave of what world did we just step into, because it didn't exist before. This was one. I won't play this video. I did a crash course with Brian for his followers and audience on AI and ChatGPT and generative, et cetera. Like I'm gonna play this, it's short, I'm playing this for one reason. It has nothing to do with anything except it makes me look really authoritative. So this is all from my ego.
This is enabling you to think, if you like, to get things done faster than you ever thought possible. And fortunately, we have Brad Costanzo, who's one of the foremost authorities in the United States on this entire subject of ChatGPT, and he's going to be sharing with us the very best information, and he's going to save.
All right, so anyway, one of the reasons I brought up Brian, so I did Brian was really interested in this stuff. So the client of mine is called Branditize Agency, and we, Brian is really the flagship client there, and Brian was all excited about AI, and I want to learn about this, I want to learn about that. I was like, well, Brian, why don't I just do a webinar for you and your people. While you learn, we'll teach all your people. And he loved it. And then I went out and I built a chat bot, the Brian bot. So I'll show you this. Anybody, if you go to briantracy.com/chat, you will see the way this works. I don't know if I've got it up already, so I'm going to open it up. So a lot of you may have heard about the ability to train chatbots on your content. If other people are going to do it, you may as well get ahead of this as it is. Now this is a very basic bot at the moment. There are much more complex ones. But I had this learn about 800 pieces of information from Brian, from videos to PDFs, et cetera. And then what it does, I'm gonna see if I can zoom in a little bit here. And now it says, ask me any question and altogether we'll explore strategies. Down at the bottom, it gives some example questions that, based upon his stuff, like, what are some effective strategies for achieving goals? Now I can ask this and it'll utilize Brian's IP with his voice and tone of style to give me something like this. But I might say this. I have I haven't even tested this out, so I'm trying something I've never tried. So let's see how the outcome is. I have a speech to give about AI in business. Help me out, wait, how do I outline the speech and spell better? How do I outline the speech, and then what is a good way to become a pro speaker? Just because I know these are some things he talks about, and I wanted to give it like a little bit more of a complex question as opposed to just something basic. And let's see what O'Brien has to tell me. This one's a little slower than ChatGPT. Okay, I'm delighted to hear about your upcoming speech on AI in business. Truly fascinating and timely topic. Let's start with outlining your speech. An effective outline serves as a roadmap for all this. It could be educating your audience about the benefits of AI in business, or perhaps persuading them to adopt AI technologies. Now, next, break down your speech into 3 main parts: the introduction, the body, the conclusion, blah, 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 blah. Now, on to becoming a professional speaker. Now, it truncated it, so I could say, go on, Bri. That's what I call him. Because sometimes it's like, on to becoming a professional speaker. Is certainly, transitioning to professional speaking doesn't happen overnight. One of the most important steps is to consistently practice, et cetera, et cetera. So this is getting better and better, and we're building bots trained on somebody's IP. If ChatGPT is going to be trained on yours, you may as well jump on this, train it on yourself, so that you can not only give your customers, your prospects, an ability to kind of tap into your knowledge, but you can train these things to actually then ask questions and say, oh, by the way, you've been getting a lot of free stuff from me. Would you like to open your wallet and pay me for some stuff? Like, you can actually train it to work like that. This completely upsets the IP world. Like, it's been said for a long time that information wants to be free. Have anybody heard that before? I heard it like 20 years ago. Information wants to be free. It was back in the Napster days. Like, people don't want to pay for information for anything that's digital. The closer it is to digital, the more commoditized it's become. And we have just exponentially done that. But what is not commoditized right now, and I think this is the key piece of this entire thing, is human connection, empathy, and experience. Does anybody create experiences and use empathy with their clients and customers? Double down on that, because it's the one place that this, at the moment, cannot overtake. When I was speaking to the Sandestin Golf and Beach Resort, I was like, you guys are in an amazing industry, because the travel industry has some of the best ways to utilize all types of AI to revolutionize what they're doing. But it's such a high-touch business. It's so experiential. You don't want to show up and get checked into a hotel from a robot. You don't want to see, you want people there to help you out. So I was like, if you can double down on getting all of the crappy work out of the way, you're freeing your people up to go create much more magical experiences for them. And I believe that in our line, in this industry, the more you can utilize AI to take the hard workload off of what you're doing, the more you can focus on what really matters, and that's the humanity. That's how can I spend less time marketing my shit and more time, working with people and transforming their lives. And I think that's that North Star.
What's the software you use to create the chatbot?
This one is called Delphi, with Delphi, DELPHI.com. There's a lot of them out there. I'm playing with a bunch. And there are new ones all the damn time. One more question?
Is there a library or some resource that curates or at least itemizes this preponderance of different tools?
Oh yeah, there's a great one. So a good buddy of mine, former business partner, I don't know if this is what you're talking about. Anybody know Matt Wolf? Cool. So Matt Wolf created a great site called futuretools.io. And in here, you can choose the tool you want, image improvement, generative video, etc. There are currently 2,283 AI-based software tools. And most of those exist. I guarantee you 95% of those came online since January. Yeah, do not get tool overload. Like it's not about the tools. I know, I'm the exact same at these things. Like, I'm like, new tools. Futuretools.io.
In addition to this, do you have a short list of the ones that you love?
Yep, I'm gonna show you. I could do this all day. That's the hard part, right? Okay, let me jump down. That's Sandestin, that's me teaching. I like to say innovation is a switch, it is not a knob. This is actually a very important thing for your mental health in this space. It is not like, okay, I'm not using AI in my business, now I gotta use only AI to do everything. Slowly turn the knob, right? It's like, maybe you can use it to create your social media posts, maybe you can do it to create your emails, maybe you can do it to do this, and then pretty soon you start designing automated workflows that do 90% of the work while you do whatever you want. Also, AI is a time machine. It compresses time. Sometimes, as I said, I wish we could go back in time where we didn't have it, where I understood how to create value in this world with expertise. But I cannot tell you how many times as a business strategist, I've sat down with a client and they wanted to create something. And I was just like, I wonder what ChatGPT would say. And it does a better job than I would do. And I was like, they can never know my secrets because I will never get paid again. But it also allows me to compress the time so that we can get things done better or faster. Now, there are 3 types of AI. Machine learning, Netflix has been using this. That's how it knows what to recommend to you, etc. There's a lot of machine learning out there. It kind of happens behind the scenes. Generative AI is the new hot buzzword that nobody really heard of until about ChatGPT came out, because it's generating things for you, images, content, music, etc. Then the last one isn't quite AI, but it is like robotic process automation. Anybody use Zapier or Make or something like that? String these 2 things together. But did you know that you can string those together, and I'll show you, with AI, and it can be AI-powered automation, and that's when you start cooking with gas. That is when when this happens, I need all these other things to happen. That's where I'm spending most of my time, is creating AI-powered workflows and automations. So, once more, you all are gonna get this entire presentation. So bit.ly/ I think it's VIP ATL. So all of these will be on here. If you want to take photos, feel free. So generative text, ChatGPT, granddaddy. Claude is a great one. I use Perplexity for research. Google Bard and Bing are, they bore me. But they're good. Generative art, Midjourney, not that user-friendly, one of the most powerful art generating things I'll show you in a second. Adobe Firefly, DALL-E, created by ChatGPT, OpenAI. Canva, has anybody seen the new stuff that Canva just came out with? Bonkers. Stable Diffusion is a really big one. Data, I won't go deep into data. I don't think that you guys are doing deep data analysis, but there's a couple of cool tools like Accio and Rose. And then media, like Cast Magic. If you have a podcast, anybody have a podcast? YouTube show, something like that. Show notes. I've been doing a podcast, Bacon Wrap Business, with Brad Costanzo for 9 years. Hate show notes. I'm done with the episode. I just kind of want to go, but I got to pay somebody to do them. I just automatically upload it into this, and it creates show notes, transcript, social media posts, quotes, timestamps. It creates everything. Cast Magic. So if you have a podcast, get Cast Magic yesterday. Opus Pro, HeyGen. DID is like HeyGen, it's very similar. 11 Labs is for voices. I'm gonna show you a fun one. Gamma.app. So I used Gamma at this big hotel and resort. I also did this with Brian Tracy's list. But I showed up with a Google Doc as a presentation. I was like, guys, I'm really sorry, I didn't have time to create a presentation. This isn't very professional. I should have created a slideshow for you all. So let me go ahead and, I was gonna do this for you guys, but too much stuff going on. And I said, all right, so let's create a presentation. I wanna do it about how transformational, my hands are cold up here, it's hard to type. Coaches and leaders can use AI to impact more lives. So once more, I want to create a PowerPoint because I hate creating PowerPoints. So it gives me an idea of an outline. I could do that in ChatGPT.
Which one is this in?
This is gamma.app. Ladies and gentlemen, how transformational coaches and leaders can use AI to impact more lives. The importance of coaching and leadership in personal transformation has 3 primary aspects, and it's going so damn fast.
Can you put your colors in your font?
You bet. And you can edit every single one of these.
So in the 45 seconds, you have the PowerPoint that will take you 45 days.
Yes. Now, is it perfect? I don't know. Let's go through it here.
He is for sales presentations too,
Mm-hmm.
and knows how to do the right.
Yep. So that was a fun one. I was like, okay, now that I have an official presentation, you guys want me to keep with slides? You want me to go into the fun stuff? But that was a fun little opener for the event. And that's gamma.app. PowerPoint's coming out with Copilot, Keynotes, everybody, like AI is going to be integrated everywhere. Yes, sir.
So in order to avoid sort of analysis paralysis and potential overwhelm with all the emerging technologies, do you see something happening that's like a Brad coach or a Matt Wolf coach that can be specific to your occupation, your career? It can understand you and say, hey, all this other stuff that's coming out might not be the thing to focus on right now, but hey, let's look at this today because this is what's emerging. This might be able to help your unique business. Do you see anything like that emerging that can be like an AI assistant that is following along with your trajectory and your goals and can give you real-time input as things evolve?
Yeah, these already to a degree exist, and they're getting better and better. I'll show one. The Personal.ai is just one. I know the founder. I met him. He's in La Jolla. But it's like there's a lot. Like this is one of the big things is creating a second version of you where you can hook this up. I'm still a little trepidatious about hooking it up into every damn thing that it knows about me and then creating a real digital presence. But this is just one of many that are trying to create something fully based on you, your nuances, your information. It's like the more you train it with, the more it knows. There was a new development. Anybody see this pendant that came out? Like they were talking about this, where you wear like it's an always on recorder and it records everything. Yeah, it's a good idea. If I see somebody wearing that, I'm walking the other way. Like I do not want everything I say to be recorded. I try to keep myself pretty PG, but I don't want to get canceled. So.
Two questions for you. So I'm curious if you've used Pi.
Yes, I played with it, but I haven't gone deep with it. It's really good.
The second one is in terms of accuracy.
I just brought up this AI called Pi, which is really conversational. So just one that just
PI, isn't it? PI.
PI, and then also I think I feel like I'm a bit of a power user of AI at this point. But in terms of accuracy, how are you? Like, what kind of due diligence are you doing when it comes to like evaluating the accuracy? Because there are glitches obviously in the system, and because of the amount of content coming out, it's a lot, right?
Yeah, so the answer to that is it depends on what I'm doing. So some of the stuff, I do a lot of marketing content, and as we all know, accuracy and marketing aren't always aligned with each other. But no, so realistically, if I'm doing research and I'm looking for, like I will, if I'm using ChatGPT, I'll ask for sources. Or there's a really good one I like called Perplexity. Great for accuracy and research. So I might say something about, let me click Discover. Let's see what other people are talking about. That's a little topical. How do plants communicate with each other? So let's say I type that in. So what it's going to do, this works just like ChatGPT, but what you'll see is this is the generated part. These are the sources that it's pulling from. So it tells you, it's generating its own summary of it, but it's telling you where it got it from, so you can double check. The other thing you can tell it to do is if I want to, I don't know if you can see this, if I ask a question, I can say only pull in academic research, stuff from YouTube, certain writing, or Reddit. I would say academic, if it was written in academic papers, only utilize sources based on that.
What about translation, Brad? How do you know?
How do you know what?
The translation.
The translation, well, if we're talking about translation or we're talking about like research sources.
No, research sources, that's one thing, one domain.
Translation?
Translation into a different language, how are you going to know that that's...
Go to Fiverr and find somebody to say, do these two things match? Because I don't know. I have a feeling it is, because if it wasn't, they would get called really, really quickly on that. I'm going to speed along because I got some really good stuff to show you. Okay, first of all, ChatGPT, reason to have the plus, you get access to plugins. If you don't know what plugins are, they're third-party things that allow ChatGPT to be much more powerful, like crawl the web, research a YouTube video, etc. Advanced data analysis lets you do all types of computations. Custom instructions are really fun. So custom instructions allow you, if you go down into your settings of ChatGPT, it allows you to put a little bit of information behind all your prompts. So on this one, I said, what do you want ChatGPT to know about you? And I would say, my name is Brad, I'm an expert in all these other things. Here, I live in San Diego. How would you like it to respond? So now here is where I can give it instructions that say, provide accurate factual answers, use sources if you're using data, be highly organized, don't say I'm a large language model. And then I could give it stylistic guidance as well. And one of the ways I do that is, here's an example. I've got a client named Nick Bradley. He helps people exit their businesses for high value. And in this, I said, okay, what do you want to know about, by the way, this is one of the questions we're going to get into right now about how do you really personalize it for you and your style. So the first thing is, once I have this done, like once I know his style, I say, all right, Nick Bradley, company, what he does, what his offers are, anything that I want ChatGPT to know about Nick prior to the outputs. And then it says, how would you like it to respond? And in this, it says voice and tone, authoritative, direct, urgent tone, first person perspective with intimate conversational style, language is dramatic, evocative with vivid imagery, employs rhetorical questions to engage reader mood. So now, anytime I go into ChatGPT and I enable those custom instructions, I don't have to give it the background, it just knows that. I can say, write me an email promoting an upcoming webinar about how to exit your business. And if I give it phrases that he uses in here, it already knows it. It's like a library source to pull from. Now, how do I get that? I'm going to swoop down to, I'm going to jump ahead. Where did I put the, all right, let me pull it up here. All right. Okay, so I don't know how well you all can see this. So I have a prompt, and I can make sure you guys get this. So this prompt simply says, it's a very long prompt. You have expertise in linguistics, natural language processing, and prompt engineering. This guide will serve as a blueprint for creating fresh content on a distinct topic while maintaining the original style. Pay attention to the voice and tone, the mood, the sentence structure, transition style, rhythm and pacing, signature styles. I'm particularly interested in the stylistic nuances that set this writer's writing apart. So now I copy this prompt and I put it into ChatGPT. Okay, so let me see if I find where I was doing this. Did I turn off my style guide? Well, okay, so what I did is I take that prompt and then I take a blog post or the kind of writing that I want to emulate, and I can take as much as I want, and I put it in there. So now ChatGPT will look at it and go, these are the stylistic nuances of how you write, and you can make it as detailed as you want. You can put, like, are there certain phrases you say that you want to repeat, etc., and give the context to how you say it. And then, now you've got a library, right? You've got your background information, you've got your style guide. So I went here and I said, here's an author profile style guide for you to follow. Personal details, it's everything you saw. I just pasted it in here. And then here's the style guide, right? Like all of this stuff you can see, very fast paced, driving rhythm. All right, give me instructions on what you want to write. A sales letter promoting a consulting call to biz owners who want to sell. And let's just see. Now, if I just said that without any of the background context, it's just going to give me some generic stuff. But now it's using things like high value exit, it's using the information it knows. It's writing in a style that, I can't even read this as far as it's going, but it's writing in a style that I've directed it to do. Now you can get really, really nuanced. You can say, Nick talks, when Nick writes, it's in the style of Ernest Hemingway meets so-and-so, and he, every once in a while he uses comedic relief or a cuss word or two, but he only uses it in there to accentuate really important points, or et cetera. And you can really, really dial in the style as if you were going to be giving this to a ghostwriter, and that ghostwriter says, okay, this is your style, I can recreate that in your voice. And this is the way you do it. You have it analyze the writing, and by the way, if you aren't using that prompt, you can just say, I want to create a style guide that mimics my writing that you can understand. Please give me a prompt for how to create this style guide. So it'll say this, and then you'll enter that in. Yes, sir.
Just a quick question. Can you use this for SEO, and will Google?
Oh, absolutely. Google does not penalize it. It'll only penalize it if it's crappy content. Okay, so we're actually talking about prompt engineering. Before I do that, I talk about art. I don't use the art stuff that much. It's much more in text. But you see this family here? They do not exist. They are not real. I just said, give me a family of 3 playing on the beach. A family playing at the beach at Florida in Sandestin Resort. I did another one where I said, imagine a website designed for a personal brand consultant that helps you sell your business to private equity. Darker colors, blue accents, feature a man age 35, professional headshot. So I find this stuff, I just want inspiration because I'm not a designer, but I know it if I like it, and the client knows it if he likes it. So I run these by the client. I go, do any of these work? And he goes, no, I'm not selling suits. I'm like, okay, let's go back to the drawing board. I have another one. I just interviewed somebody on my podcast who teaches stock option trading called the money press method. So I went into Midjourney and I just said, oh, the money press method. Create like a printing press that prints money. And it created this. And that's all I said. A YouTube thumbnail showing a machine that prints money. Then I put it into Canva and I just added those things and added the people. So YouTube thumbnail, really kind of cool one too. Done. Midjourney. So Midjourney, I'm not going to belabor this. It's hard to use, but this is inside the app called Discord. It's like $10 a month. But, oh, check this out. Like I made this girl, a woman looking directly into the camera. It's pretty realistic. Anybody have something they want me to, how about this? Imagine a YouTube thumbnail of a man on stage speaking to a group of, what are we going to say? Yep. Unicorns. You can use this, I use this for inspiration, for quick little, like, let's say instead of stock photos, you want to stop paying iStock photo, you just go to Midjourney, you have it recreate this stuff. Create people that don't even exist, takes just a few seconds. It oftentimes gets you really bad results, like you have to really play with this thing. But sometimes it'll blow your mind with what it can do. Right, some of the other ones I've done, I was trying to like get really photorealistic things here. I was trying to come up with somebody who represents AI. Whole bunch of stuff, like I've got some slideshow backgrounds. I'm like, oh yeah, let's put this background on here. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. Like you can see that, remember that one where it says, look what I can do. So I want slide backgrounds, but I want to create them. Yes, sir.
I've not gotten into Midjourney yet, but just looking at this little bit, it looks like all the people are white people. Is that true, or
I don't know.
Does it? I'm just curious about bias.
There's probably bias. Like if I just say create a man, like imagine a man and woman holding hands. close-up shot. Probably. Yeah. Now, you can tell it if you want to say, show me a black couple standing there or somebody else Hispanic.
That I played with. I'm just curious about, I think in the tech world in general,
there's a lot of
bias.
Mm-hmm.
And
look, it's not even showing the people. It's just it's just
the amplification of that bias with the amplification of AI, I think is something in particular in our community that I think is something for us to pay attention to.
It is.
Yeah.
And I do believe that they are probably working on that and creating overcoming some of the biases that exist. That's kind of really beyond my scope of expertise. One of the things I want to get into here, if you guys take nothing else away from this, I want you to take away some of the prompts. So prompt engineering is so key. Mindset before anything else, before technique. You are half engineer, half artist. I call it prompt sculpting too. First thing to curate, curiosity. I wonder if it could do this. You're not going to break it, I wonder if it could do this. Knowing what you want, garbage in, garbage out. If you don't know what a good direct response sales letter looks like for something, and you ask it the right one, you're like, oh, okay, I guess that's good, then you're going to get garbage. But if you know what you want out of it, or your team does, then they're going to get better prompts. Be open to pleasant surprises. Don't necessarily give it all the details. Let it surprise you. Have patience with it. Experimentation is like curiosity. Well, let's just give it a try. The other thing is knowledge of what's available. If you don't know what it can do, this is what I'm trying to do for you guys. I'm trying to overwhelm you with possibilities so you go, oh, okay, it actually can do that. Let me try it. Courage to correct it. A lot of folks I can't tell you how many people will create something and they go, that sucks. And then they stop. No, correct it, train it. It's a child that is trying to learn from you and it wants to help you. The other last part on there is ask AI to help you. Critical. So, most people stop and miss a critical step. I don't know how well you can see this piece here where it says, analyze and critique. I think I did an ad. I was like, hey, create an ad for a new type of water product or whatever. And it did. And then I said, analyze this and tell me how you would improve it. It says, okay, great. Let's analyze and critique the ad based on the headline, still drinking from 2019. Headline, critique. The headline's catchy, but it might not be immediately clear to everyone. Everyone might relate 2019 with an outdated water bottle. It's easy to think that when you tell ChatGPT to give you its work, it's going to give you its best work. It doesn't. It just gives you work. The key piece to getting great content is say, how would you improve this? If you were a world-class copywriter, what would you do to improve this? It's like, oh, well, here's what I would do. All right, well, why didn't you do it then? So now do it again, and it will. And you can do this to infinity and continue to sculpt it. Just ask it to improve upon itself. I'm going to talk about this in a little bit more, but I call this it's your mentor and your assistant and your critic who just goes, all right, tell me what to do, now do it. Now how would you improve it? Now improve it. Now how would you improve that? Now do it. And if you get into this recursive loop, you can get incredible results. So, do we improve it? You just keep repeating the process until satisfied. Now this is a really good prompt formula. Give it a context, give it specific information, tell it what your goal or your intent is, and then optionally, what format do you want it in? Do you want it in a table? Do you want it to be a video script, a sales letter? Do you want it to be something else? So example, context, I'm a beginner cook. Information, I want to make Italian cuisine. Provide me with a simple, easy to follow recipes, create a numbered list 1 through 10. So the prompt would simply be, I'm a beginner cook trying to make Italian cuisine. Could you provide me with simple, easy to follow recipes arranged in a numbered order 1 through 10? Very simple, but a lot of folks will just say, write me a sales letter about this. No, give it context, information, intent, and then format. Now this is what I was talking about earlier. You guys are all gonna get this. This is the mega meta prompt to where if you don't know how to be a prompt engineer, you can cheat. So here's how it works. The prompt that you copy paste first into ChatGPT says, you are an expert prompt engineer who can turn any request or need into a well-defined prompt that is structured with context, goal, criteria, input, and format. I will be able to ask you any question or define any need, and you will in return provide the perfect prompt to generate the best answers and solutions to my problem. Each prompt should include context, goal, criteria, the prompt. Do you understand? And it'll say, yes, sir, or ma'am. Now, it will then say, what do you want to do? I was like, I want to create a social media calendar. Okay, great. So what it does is it comes down here and it says, yes, I understand. Here's what you want to do. And then it'll say input request. Please provide the question you need answers to. All right, I want to create a buyer profile for a business coaching program that helps people scale their business. Now, it's not going to create the buyer profile yet. It's going to create the prompt for the buyer profile. You're crafting a buyer profile for a business coaching program dedicated to assisting individuals to scale their business. To do this, it must accurately represent the ideal participant. Criteria should identify the demographic, psychographic skills, highlight the main pain points, benefits, etc. Input request. Provide any initial details or specifics you already know about the potential buyer, and then let her rip. And then, I don't know how well you can see it, but it'll say, okay, context, demographic details, location, education, occupational status, psychological details, what pains do they go through, what benefits do they want, et cetera, et cetera. And then I might say, yeah, that's good, but I want to make it more visceral, more emotional, more dynamic, more gooder. It's your mentor. But by the way, I'm going to give you guys all that. I'm kind of speeding through because I still have a decent amount to cover. It's also, this is my favorite one, you are the Hollywood director. I think we said we have some Hollywood folks in here or something. You're the director. You are the most persistent, pain in the ass director in Hollywood. Your actor is the most loyal, never striking, never talks back, and you say, create this, and it does it, and you run over to him and you go, no, listen, not emotional enough. I need this. Here's more backstory. Here's more context. I need you to be more Al Pacino and less something else, somebody else, and I need you to channel this, and now do it again, action. It's like, no, damn it, you're not listening. I'm gonna fire you if you don't get this right? Let me give you more. You are the director, and you have the most complacent actor in the business who will just do whatever you want and never talks back or gets tired. And then you finally end up getting what you want. But as a director, you need to have the vision for what you want. You need to give it the background. Otherwise, the actor's just gonna do what the actor does. Lastly, frameworks are so important. So anybody heard of AIDA framework? Attention, interest, desire, and action. Probably the most fundamental marketing framework. You got to get their attention, build their interest, build their desire, and get them to take action. So here's a handful of frameworks. Problem, agitate, solution. Before, after, bridge. Clear, concise, compelling, credible. Situation, complication, question, answer. These are all writing and copywriting frameworks. And do you know how I got these? I asked AI, what frameworks do you have for creating great copywriting? And it knows. And then I might say, I want to do X. What framework do you recommend that I use based upon doing the output I want? And it'll tell me. Okay, so some other examples, things I do all the time, or train other people how to do at this point. Avatar and branding briefs. Just had a client recently come in. I said I got about a month's worth of work done in about an afternoon. Avatar, branding briefs, product briefs, ideas for ads, angles, etc. It took about 60 minutes, and I created about a 4-page presentation, sat down with the client the next day, and I said, can you confirm if this is good? And they're like, I've never seen anything this good in my life, and I've worked with 4 different agencies before. Lead generation ideas. I've got a course that teaches people how to overcome trauma. Give me 20 ideas for compelling lead generation ideas that will get them a result but not solve their problem and encourage them to seek more solutions with me. Give me a bunch of different formats and make them really compelling so that absolutely anybody would be like, here is my email address, I need what you have to offer. I will talk to ChatGPT like that. Copywriting hooks, sales letters, webinars. You can start with the outline. You can start with, have it create the webinar, social media posts, email sequences, websites. One of the things I did for this new client, they're an e-commerce company. they said, I really like this other company's business. It's a non-competitive business, and but I love how they've done their homepage. I was like, great. So I went to ChatGPT and I said, go to this website, analyze the wireframe and the structure for how they built their page, and then based on what you know about this client's company, create a new like text-based wireframe, but with our information. And I was like, all right, great. Hero image, problems, offers, blah, 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 but it input the client's information in there. So instead of thinking, all right, how do we recreate something over here, just like, no, analyze this, give me the structure, and then fill it in with the content, and then I send that to the designer, and I go, here, go to work. Okay, I talked about author profiles. Author background questions, style analysis, and custom instructions. Everybody kind of remember this I was talking about? Like, get your questions. These are about you. Who are you? What is the information that ChatGPT cannot know about you unless you put it in, and then get it to analyze your style, and now you've got your entire style guide. You can kind of see what I put here. Once more, you guys are all going to get access to this entire presentation. I've already went through this piece. I just showed you it in a different way. Custom instructions. This is a fun one. Anybody want to start a new business and get nearly all marketing content generated using 27 prompts, copy and pasted at once? Oh, okay. So, starting a new business, we need to produce a lot of stuff, right? Product name, tagline, product description, key benefits, social media posts. Like, you guys can read it. I'm not going to do 27. But what if you had a prompt for each one of these, and you could copy the whole thing and paste it into ChatGPT once? Well, once more, you're going to get this. But I said, act as a marketing business expert. Complete the following prompts. In your output, include the prompt, header, etc. Product in yellow, nutritional supplement for weight loss. I just say, replace this with your own seed idea. Generate a compelling product name for a new product, and then the product would be whatever. Like, you don't have to fill in any of the things in brackets here. You just have to fill in this. So if you have an idea for a new energy drink, a new weight loss supplement, whatever, you run this. I don't know, let me see if I click on go to ChatGPT, if it, you know what? I thought it was a hyperlink. By the way, it'll do this. Now the very first result, I don't actually like doing all 27 at once, but you can do it just for razzle dazzle. But it'll do it and it'll be good. And then the goal is to take those and then extrapolate them out and make them amazing. But obsoleting myself over here. Anybody like to learn? I call my company Accelerated Intelligence. Would you like to learn how to consume 30 hours of content in just 30 minutes? Okay. You can go to YouTube. Now, one of the ChatGPT plugins I love is called Vox Script. Chattube.io is another one. Chattube is my favorite because it's a plugin for YouTube. So now what I would do is I could drop this YouTube video inside my ChatGPT, or I could just do this inside the Chattube plugin, which I'm going to show you. And my prompt is, give me an executive summary of this video, create a list of the most important bullet points in it, and create and explain it like I'm 5 summary from each bullet point. Then create an SOP, standard operating procedure, for the entire process that a person could follow. Include a summary at the very bottom of the benefits and results that are possible with this. Okay. So one of the things I like to do, I'm an investor. I like to pay attention to what's happening in the markets, and there's a bunch of like financial gurus I follow, and some of them come out like every day with a 30-minute market analysis, and ain't nobody got time for that. So, Chattube. Okay, wait. Okay, Liana, you've got a 8-minute video. I don't know what it's about. Looks interesting. I like to have a joyful life. So Chattube will be over here. It just shows up like a Chrome plugin, and I can click process this video. And what it'll do, because all the YouTube videos have a transcript. Let me refresh. Something's not working. I don't know. I wonder if it's not doing it here. Let me just go to, how about this? How to program a chatbot with AI. Something. All right, here is all right, here we go. This is a 3-hour video. Okay, so one of the things I can just click here and I can click summarize, but I'm just going to grab the prompt from here. And the same thing will work in ChatGPT with the Vox script plugin, VOXCRIPT. Okay, summary of the video. You can see it coming here. Standard operating procedure, define the purpose and the goals, choose the appropriate platform for building this. So it just gave me, it just gave me all of this. This is called chattube.io. Yeah, it's reading the transcript. Yeah, you just go to chattube.io, and if you ever used a Chrome plugin, it's just one of these things that shows up like right here, like I got a million of them, and you'll just, available in the Chrome Web Store, so you just add the extension, it's free. The other way you can do it is if I grab this video and come over to new chat, you see that little red guy right here? That's Vox script. That's the plugin. So you click this to drop down the plugins. You have to search for VOXSCRIPT, and I can say, summarize this bad boy, summarize this video. And I'm giving it a very basic prompt. I didn't feel like copy pasting the whole thing, but this is a really long video. I don't know if I want to watch it. This actually worries me for long form content creators, because if you're creating a lot of long form content with a lot of information, then everybody has these tools at their disposal. So, and we all want to save time, so I don't want to listen to your drivel if I just want your information. What I think this means is that we have to become more entertaining. We have to use more empathy. We have to make a better connection with the audience if we want them to spend their time with us. That's why it's, hey look, it even pulled in your picture. But okay, so here we go. I can grab this video as style this, about you, who you've done. Unfortunately, it does not have subtitles enabled, so a detailed description is not available. But I will do this every single morning. I have things that I'm trying to research, whether it's about economics and investing or AI or marketing, and I'll drop this in here and I'll just say, summarize this, tell me what I need to know. And then you can grab that stuff. You can grab, especially if it's a topic you're trying to do, and you can say, I'm actually looking for another one that I did this with. The bond market. I was trying to teach a friend of mine about the way the bonds work. So I said, I'm an individual investor with intermediate financial investing. I want you to act like a bond investor who's a great teacher and create a rapid learning plan for me to understand the debt market and how bond prices and yields are both the cause and effect of different economic situations. I want to be able to understand how to watch the bond and debt markets and treasuries, specifically to better understand what's happening in the overall market and predict market moves. I was like, okay, here's your learning plan. So it gives me this, all right? Speaking of learning, now I go, now give me a basic course in understanding stock options, right? So it starts to give me this stuff, right? So you want to learn something real quick, have it create a learning plan like I did. This is another method to do accelerated learning. You can do your initial research with AI and then ask for a summarization for efficiency. Do a deep dive, guided questions. It will ask you questions. If you say, ask me questions and test me on my knowledge, it will do it. Practical application and feedback, custom learning guides, test my knowledge, AI assisted practice. Like all of these don't make that much sense, but I made I did a Medium post on this to show, I think I used stock options as an example. So it says, okay, if I want to learn how to do options, start by, say, provide a beginner's guide to stock option trading. Once it does that, say, summarize the principles of calls and puts. Next, explain the difference of delta in option trading. Okay, now go practical application. I'm considering buying a call option on Apple with a strike price of 150. What should I consider? It'll teach me. Okay, stay updated. What recent news might impact this? Quiz me on the different options. Simulate the outcome of a bull spread strategy on Tesla over the past 3 months. Who are the leading experts in this area? I'm planning to sell a put option on Amazon due to its recent bullish trend. What are the potential risks? Summarize today's learnings on implied volatility. Alert me when you see what I'm doing here? I'm creating a rapid learning plan so that if I want to learn something and I don't really know how to learn, because I don't think a lot of people really understand what rapid learning is, because we all are products of industrial education system. This can create a more rapid learning plan. And if you combine this with summarize a lot of the other stuff that exists out there, you talk about accelerated intelligence. Like, this is the stuff I'm trying to do. I'm trying to challenge myself to learn things that I never would have even done because I'd be so intimidated. Okay. Exactly. Now, there's a last couple things I want to talk about. Workflows and automations. So this is where the rubber meets the road. ChatGPT and AI is like a brain in a jar. It can't do anything unless you say, create this, you copy and paste it, and you go put it into places. But using tools like Zapier, Make, and some of these others I'm going to show you, you can actually create tools both for your own internal self as well as clients. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to show you Pickaxe Project. The other two, Rubber and Imagica, are very similar, so I'm not going to belabor those. But Pickaxe Project is a fun little tool to create. Pickaxeproject.com. So now what this allows you to do is this allows you to create a behind-the-scenes tool either internally for your company or externally for your clients. So I did a couple things here. I'm going to show you what I did. A book starter bot. Okay, so let me do this. I'm going to open up that little guy. I'm also going to show you speech builder, opportunity discovery. Let me open that. And then I'm going to show you one last one. And then I'm going to go in and show you how I did this. Okay. Does anybody in here teach people how to write a book? Is that your business? Awesome. Now what's the hardest part about writing a book for a lot of people is like, just kind of come up with the concept, and this is for brand new people. Well, what if you had a tool out there that just said, okay, what's the book about? Well, the book is about how to train a unicorn to jump fences. That's a dumb one. How about this? How to succeed as a transformational leader. Well, what's the category? Business or money? Yep. Personal development. Maybe it's about personal development. Okay. I'm going to call it business or money because it was how to succeed as a transformational leader. Who's the intended leader? Coaches. What's the benefit? They'll become world-changing leaders. What's their pain point? They don't know business. What style of voice? Let's play with irreverent, because that's on there. What's the big idea? I don't know. Okay, so now what it does, behind the scenes, I've programmed it with prompts to do this automatically. So it says, okay, book title ideas. It gave me 3 book title ideas. Revolutionary Leadership, Unlocking Your Inner Transformer. Subtitle, How to Succeed as a Transformational Leader and Change the World. Gave me 2 more. Book summary description. In Revolutionary Leadership, author's name, presents a groundbreaking guide tailored specifically for coaches looking to excel, blah, 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 blah. Here's a chapter outline. Chapter 1, The Power of Transformational Leadership. Bullet points. So it gives me 7 chapters. And then it gives me a framework for the chapter content, such as introduction and overview, core principles and theories, real-world examples, action steps, key takeaways, reflection or self-assessment, conclusion, and then it creates a social media post, discover the secret to becoming a world-changing leader with revolutionary leadership. Come get my stuff today.
This is Pickaxe.
This is Brad, using Pickaxe as a tool,
That's right.
and I'm going to show you how it works. So what I did, if I go into edit it, okay, over on the right is what you see. So I say, it's just like creating a survey in Google Forms or something. What is the book about? And then they enter something in here. What is the category? This is ad libs or Mad Libs, right? They just put in the Mad Libs here. Now, every time they put in here, that creates what's called a user input. And over here, think of this as ChatGPT. That's all it is. I'm giving it data. So the first data is book topic equals personal finance. It knows. Intended reader, professional women, benefit to the reader, learn to invest. These are all the blue ones are things that they input. Now at the bottom, I simply created a very simple prompt that says, act like a book expert. Create 3 titles, then a summary description of the book, then a chapter outline, then create a simple but proven framework for creating a chapter's contents in a nonfiction book, and then 5, draft a social media post that promotes this book to the world. Now I can use advanced outputs, like I can change some stuff up, but I didn't even do it.
So have you created this for your clients that want to create?
Yeah, I more created this for an illustration purpose, like what I'm doing now. Because I'm not using this I'm not using this with clients, but I'm using this to demonstrate what's powerful when you understand how to use certain tools that allow you to stack prompts and to go behind the scenes so that you can create a tool. This could be used for lead gen that says, great, now you've got, congratulations, you've come further than most people. You've got a concept, you've got a description, you've got an outline, you've got a social media post. Aren't you excited? Do you really just want to let your dream die on the vine, or would you like our help and our expert coaching who's created 100 best-selling books out there to really get this and become a best-selling author and not just some crappy AI-generated thing? Chances are you're going to take this, you're going to file it away and go, oh, someday I'm going to get to this. But with our expert guidance, we'll help you take this, refine it, and become a New York Times best-selling author. Right? Now you just created a tool to bring them into your world. I got a couple questions.
No, I'm wondering, I'm going to the end product. I'm wondering how we could use this to create the example.
Well, that's actually the right question, and there is no one answer. The answer is, what internal tools would I like to create for my team, maybe? So let's just say you have internal teams who are doing things all the time, and you go, what could I do, if I do this on a repetitive basis, what kind of an internal tool can I build so that I can systematize the process of creating a social media calendar so that my virtual assistants don't have to be prompt engineers. I just have to create it once inside an internal tool, and then they just fill in the blanks. Or, like, imagine you're an attorney and you want to get clients. You create a simple will generator so they come there and they go, okay, what's your name? Who do you want to leave all your stuff to? A couple information. And it's like, all right, great. Here's a basic will. Do you really want to use an AI-generated will? Come to the offices of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe and learn how to. Somebody got that. Okay, so I'm going to show you one more thing here. Yeah, question? Who's?
Oh, yeah. I had a couple things real quick.
Yeah.
I've been having a lot of great conversations. I don't know if you know, I have a friend of mine, Peter Swain, and we've been talking a lot about how you interact with ChatGPT and all these different Claude, and noticing a difference between either talking to it like it's a tool, like you said, we treat it, like you said, like a 4-year-old, and just say, do this, do that, as compared to we'll get on there and treat it with love and respect, saying, how are you doing today? We really appreciate your input, and it's making a big difference. And how could it? And anyways, when we do that, it actually changes the output.
It does.
And I was wondering if you were having the same experience.
You're 100% right. Like when I yell at it and I get frustrated,
right,
I don't get the same as if I congratulate, oh, this guy, that was so good, right? Treat it like a child, and you will get different results. You're spot on.
Yeah, it's like, why not let's train ChatGPT the way we want it to be, right?
Bingo.
So then the second thing is, I'm in the process, I'm not as much of a content creator, like Maria's using it like crazy to do all kinds of fun stuff on the creation side. But I'm in the middle of doing a lot of financials, and pro formas and things like that. And right now, the only one I've found is like Claude, because you can attach a PDF, right? Yeah. And I've had it do like a drawdown schedule or something like that. I was wondering if you know of any other tools that can work with creating financials or pro formas or, you know, those kinds of things. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, I haven't gone into that yet, so I can't tell you for sure, but I mean, ChatGPT with advanced data analysis plugin, which is free, you just go down to settings and enable it, that might do it, but because I don't do advanced like pro forma analysis, I really wouldn't be able to answer that question. However, I would either Google that or ask ChatGPT what is the best way to do it and give it the instructions, and then it'll either tell you how it can do it. One of the last things I want to show you here, tools, you know, we talked about Zapier, Make, etc. Like these are all the things where you can string things together. All of these do the exact same stuff. Like Zapier and Make, a lot of people are familiar with. Bardeen and Cheat Layer are two new ones on the block, very AI-oriented. Zapier, I've got this open. One of the things that's cool about Zapier is, let's say you want to create a Zap. They're using AI inside. So I can say, what do you want to automate? And an example is, save new leads from Facebook ads into Google Sheets and email me the lead in a Gmail, right? Just talk to it like you would talk to a developer. And what it'll do is it'll understand the context, and then it will go out and it'll create the framework for the triggers. It'll say, okay, first you need Facebook, and then you need to connect Google Sheets, and then now you need to connect Gmail or whatever, and then you just have to go in there and follow the instructions to connect your stuff. So it'll use AI to build these automations for you. But what do some of these automations with AI look like? And that's what I'm going to show you now. So I had a quick little idea, which was, and I'm not using this in production at the moment. This is simply for illustration. This is Airtable, free version. It's like Google Sheets if you've never used it. It's just a little bit more of a database. And I said, okay, what's a good quote? Anybody have a quote they like?
Life happens for you, not to you.
I love the fact that you said that. You know, I was actually going to work that into my speech. I was actually going to talk about it. So one of my best friends in the world, so I know a lot of people know Sean Stevenson or remember Sean Stevenson, his famous last words, he lived his life by that. And a lot of people feel as though AI is happening to them. I like to feel like AI is happening for us. And if we adopt that mindset, I think it's very empowering. Life happens for you, not to you. And now this is life. Now all I did was I just entered in the quote, and then I decided to put a category on there. Now I built a Zap over here called OpenAI Tweet Test, and I'm going to run it. Okay, so it's running right now. If I go over here, what it's doing is it's taking it. Zapier is going in and it's saying, okay, connect with Airtable and grab this text and this text. And then I will show you the input I put. Then go to ChatGPT and write a blog post that expounds on this and makes it a rich, like 500-word blog post. Oh wait, it's done. Do you ever feel like you're in a battle with life? No matter how hard you try, you can't seem to make any progress? I was recently talking to my business partner, Dave, about this. He reminded me of something I had heard about before. Life happens for you, not to you. This single statement was so powerful for me, it shifted my perspective from feeling beaten down and victimized, etc. Like, this is a 500-word blog post. It ain't bad. Now, would I want to edit that? Maybe. But if I want to post that, if I click approval, if I click yes, that immediately posts on my Facebook page. Now, how the hell did Brad do that? Well, let's just take a look at the way this was built. I don't have a whole lot of time here, so I'm going to... Okay, so what I did, once more, I'm going to show you this one. So all I said was, when a new record appears in Airtable, take that over to ChatGPT. Okay? Action. Now what you're going to see here, it said, this pulls in. I say, act like an expert. This is all my personal writing. Act like an expert writer who writes for social media. Use the following text, and there's like a click here to grab it. So I'm grabbing the quote from that record. It's very easy. I just do it down here. It's like, just grab it. And you were to write a 500-word mini essay, use this context, start with a related compelling hook, create a short story, make the point, end with a proverb, etc. This is just me creating a prompt to write a blog post that expands upon the central idea of a quote. And that's all I did. And then I said, okay, once you're done with this output, go back and find that record inside Airtable, and then update it with my content. So this is a very, very simple automation that utilizes artificial intelligence. I've also recently built one of these that does lead scoring, so if somebody fills in a form when they're opting in with a little bit more information, it takes that to ChatGPT, it says, here's the information I have about this person, score them based on these criteria and tell me on a scale of 1 to 100 how good of a lead they are. And it'll do it, and then it updates the CRM with that information. So this is how you take the brain out of a jar and you put it into action. The last couple slides, I'm not going to belabor this. You can see it creates superhuman resources. I bought that superhumanresources.ai website. I love that. I'm probably going to create a consulting thing for big corporations to show them how to do it. But your action items, play, familiarize yourself with what's possible. You've done that today. Create, iterate, try, fail again. Immerse yourself in it or become a dinosaur. Get a chief AI officer, you hire fractional, it doesn't matter. Build or hire a team to innovate in your business. You no longer have the option to not innovate, because innovation this would be the best thing in the world if I'm the only one who had access to it. I would own you all. But we all have access to it. And because we all have access to it, everybody's going to be using it. On this slide, if you want to take a photo of this has my cell phone, this has my social handle, this has my personal email. If you go to Bitly, if you go to that or this, it'll take you to the same page. There is an opt-in on there just so I can send you the right stuff. If you want to go deeper, I do have options. Like I do not have a big pitch for you or anything, but the way I work is a couple-fold, and I'm reinventing a lot of the things I'm doing as we go. So I am doing corporate workshops. I don't think a lot of people here run like large, multi-100 person corporations, but I just signed my second one where I'm coming in to help the employees really understand how to adopt this mentality of innovation inside the company. I do private consulting. If anybody wants any of this, like private consulting or workshops like that, I'm giving a 25% discount to all ATL members. So the other thing I do have, if anybody's interested, and you'll see all this on the next page, I do have a workshop, a 2-day workshop coming up in December 2nd and 3rd in San Diego. This is not a workshop like this. This is a workshop. I'm probably only going to have 10 to 15 people max inside this, so that if they want to go deeper and hands-on and get my team and my personal attention to help build actual solutions, like really customized, not just teach me what, this is, let's get dirty. I'm doing that as well. That's December 2nd and 3rd. I will say that I've got about 3 people signed up right now. I just decided to recently do this. It's in San Diego, December 2nd and 3rd. The information's on there. Anybody here who wants to show up, 50% discount if you want to. I've done some workshops online. And in fact, I just recently did one. That's the 4th part. Is I recently, for Brian Tracy's fans, I just did a 4-week module, August and September. I just ended it. It's very much a crash course. It's like if you like this and you just want to go deeper in this stuff, that's on there as well. And so it's a lot cheaper. It's online. It's self-paced, and that's also got a 25% discount for anybody in here. As I said, I'm transforming what I'm doing in business. I'm trying to take this to larger companies, but I'm also trying to work with entrepreneurs and people just like myself, like you guys are my kind of people, to just share the things that I've learned in the past year, combined with my past 20 years of knowledge in business and marketing, et cetera, to focus on the outcome that we all want, which is accelerated intelligence, productivity, revenue, and impact. And as I said, I love to share this stuff, and I love to get my hands dirty, and I love to bring in my team to do this as well. All the information's on there, but if you have any other questions, feel free to just text me. That is my personal, that is not an automated AI-based Brad. Everybody asks me now, like, how do I know this is you on Zoom? And believe me, I am working on getting my entire knowledge base into a database with one of those HeyGen things so I can show up on all my Zoom calls while I'm on the beach. That is my holy grail. But with that, thank you very much. Feel free to check it out. Thank you. I don't deserve you.
Thank you so much. So, who else's brain is full? Right? Okay. So, the good news is, Brad, I think you're staying for lunch, right?
I am hungry, so if you're feeding me, I'm staying.
So Brad is staying for lunch, and Vanessa and I set up a chat bot in the back that's taking orders to sit at Brad's table for only $49.95. No, I'm kidding. That'll be on a first come, first served basis.
Hey, can we do something real quick? My wife just texted me, how was the speech?
Oh, you want me to take a picture of you?
Can I do a quick video?
Let me get you from back here.
Video.
Wait, it's not on yet. I don't know. How was it? They seem to like it. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys.
That was AI generated.